we're going to be using chromatography to separate out some dyes. You will need a container, acetone nail polish remover, 3 inks and a pencil, a coffee filter, something to measure with, tape, and scissors. And we'll also need some plastic wrap. The mobile phase, which will move the dyes up the stationary phase, will be the acetone nail polish remover. And the stationary phase, which will hold the ink, will be the coffee filter. So first we'll fill the bottom of the cup with acetone. And cover it with the plastic wrap so that the fumes can fill the cup, which will help the dyes move better up the stationary phase. I'm going to cut our stationary phase into a strip so that it will fit better in the cup. Now I'm going to draw a straight line in pencil near the bottom of the stationary phase. And it's important that it's pencil so that it doesn't mix with the dyes that are going to go on it. And then I'll make dots with each of my 3 dyes. We have a blue pen, a blue marker, and a blue highlighter. We want to make sure that they're pretty spaced out so that they don't mix once they get into the acetone. So here's what it looks like. So next we will put the stationary phase into the acetone so that the acetone line is just below the dots. And that's important so that the acetone can travel up the stationary phase and carry the dyes without the dyes bleeding into the liquid at the bottom. So that's good. And then we'll secure it with some tape so that it doesn't move. And cover it back up. And then you can see the dyes are starting to move up the stationary phase with the acetone. So this will keep going on for a while, and then once the acetone reaches almost to the top, we will take it out so that we can measure how far each dye has traveled. So here we can see the progress the dyes are making, but there's still a while before it will reach the top. Here's the dyes again. They've gotten a little bit farther up, but again, there's still a while left. Now that the ink has almost reached the top, we will take out the stationary phase. And set it down, and we can measure the distance that it has traveled from the base. First, we'll measure from the line, the pencil line, to the top of the acetone, and that is 7 centimeters. And then we'll measure the blue marker, and you measure to the middle of the marker line, and that is 5.5 centimeters. Then the pen is 6.5 centimeters. And the highlighter is 6 centimeters. The RF value will do the distance traveled by each of the inks divided by the total distance traveled by the acetone. For the marker, that is 5.5/7. The pen, it's 6.5/7, and the highlighter is 6/7. So I did the calculations, and for the marker, I got an RF value of 0.7857. For the pen, 0.92857, and for the highlighter, 0.85714. And the RF values can tell us about the polarity of each of the dyes. So a lower RF value indicates a lower polarity because acetone is polar, and the farther that it carries it, the more soluble that the dye is in the acetone. So one that travels farther will have been more soluble in the acetone, was able to be carried farther, and therefore had a higher RF value.